The Wizards have a sneaky great opportunity right now with the New Orleans Pelicans, who were another bottom feeder last year, making the recent signing of Bennedict Mathurin. There are a lot of questions around how they're going to fill out their roster heading into next season, as they're now in the luxury tax, and one name has shown up as a target for the Washington Wizards in a recent Yahoo article, and we're going to dive into it. Plus, a little note on more Rookie of the Year talk coming up, as our boy is once again not landing where we want. All of that coming up on this episode. And hey, make sure if you're enjoying these daily videos, the season's right around the corner, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because we are here literally every single day, and over 80% of you still aren't subscribed, and you're not getting the latest and greatest like this New Orleans Pelicans target. But first, Nick, we got to talk about some Rookie of the Year stuff. Sleeper Wizards tweeting this out. NBA insiders at ESPN voted for who will win the 2026 Rookie of the Year award. It's the same case as what we saw before when we looked at the betting odds. Well, at least in the betting odds, AJ Dawkins wasn't even in the top three. At least here, he's in the top three for once, but it sure seems like the favorites are Boozer and Peterson. And, you know, as they point out here, fair because the Wizards have a better roster around Dawkins, and I think that's the ultimate question. I want the fans to answer. Is it fair for AJ to be third here? I mean, he's the number one pick. He's coming in with all the high pedigree, the insane summer league, but ultimately, is this really just going to come down to the Wizards having a lot of other players to share the ball with?
Yeah, you look at it from the other rookies, and obviously we talked about this a few weeks ago. I mean, I think AJ should be top three just by the nature of his talent. Now, you can look at Caleb Wilson on the Bulls and stuff like that. Surrounding AJ Dawkins, we're seeing more and more every single day. Like, I mean, footage of him, just the way he conducts himself. He has a different feel to him than any other rookie that, at least obviously a Wizards fan, so I've been paying more attention to AJ Dawkins. I think he's ready to slide in and help the team win. I think by the end of the year, he's going to be the most valuable player or most valuable rookie out of all the rookies when it comes to winning games. But does that translate, like we always talk about, to the voters? You know, maybe Darren Peterson goes out and averages 28 points a game on a losing team, and AJ Dawkins averages 19, plays really good defense, propels the Wizards to a playoff spot again. It'll be kind of depending on what the voters do. But one thing over the past few years, slowly but surely, it does seem like they're starting to take into account winning a little bit more.
Yeah, I would hope so. And again, because it's not often that these kind of players can be put in a position like AJ Dawkins is in right now. It is really not often that a rookie comes into a roster like this, right? At least not a pick that high, I should say. Rookies do it all the time, but you know, top picks don't often come into rosters like this. Again, you know, you could use the Spurs example of, you know, Dylan Harper this year, but again, you get the influx of talent in Davis and Trae Young. Hopefully Sarr will be back nice and healthy early on in the season. Yeah, we'll have to see there, but there's solid backups here too, and I just think I like the point you made about valuable to winning. And I wonder if that's going to be valued as much. Because honestly, like, when I look at this list here, the Jazz, as bad as kind of they are, there is some sneaky upside to that team. I don't know if they're actually going to be good, but there are other guys here, Nick, that I think could be on sneaky good teams too. And, you know, I'm as much as I do believe in the Wizards this year, there's no guarantee they're going to finish higher in the standings than some of these other teams. So I still think also that despite this good roster, I think there's still a very, very solid case to be made for Dawkins to be higher than number 3.
Yeah, I think he'll probably end up winning it. I think that's kind of where I stand on it, but it'll be a very tight race most likely. But it doesn't really make a difference in my eyes if he wins it or if he doesn't, because if he doesn't win it, as long as he's playing good basketball and the potential is there. So I don't take too much stock into it, but there is something to be said about how talented the Wizards are, or at least being viewed by a lot of people who are making these polls as well. Because clearly, if they thought the Wizards weren't going to be great, and there's a chance they trade Anthony Davis, all that stuff, as it is right now, they're arguably the most talented team out of that, top 3, top 4.
Yeah, it's pseudo praise. Like, just saying, I think the Wizards will probably be too good. It's not that Dawkins is not the best rookie. It's just that these other guys might have higher scoring averages. But like, this team is not just, pretty good at the top in this starting lineup. There's good depth, as we've talked about a lot, ad nauseum at this point, where we got Tristan Vukcevic and Ayton as like 2 backup bigs. That can work. It's solid depth. Champagnie and Middleton, and then Coulibaly, and then Will Riley and Tre Johnson, and then Bub Carrington and Tre Mann. It's like, there's just so many pieces here, but there's still an open spot. And we've explored so many different names. We talked about guys like Nick Richards. We talked about guys, even mentioned Kevin Love, Tony Bradley. But there's an interesting name out of New Orleans. And in a recent Yahoo article, he was linked to the Wizards. Yahoo says the Wizards could opt for a classic, quote, second draft revival project in the reportedly available Jordan Hawkins. Jordan Hawkins seems to be available, a $7 million contract out of New Orleans. You know they don't want to be paying that luxury tax, not after signing Bennedict Mathurin. So, Hawkins costs. Well, what would it cost? They suspect that, look, the Wizards have a vacant roster spot, but also second round picks to deal. There's no way Jordan Hawkins at this point would fetch a first round pick. Nick, his struggles have been well documented. I mean, last year, not this past season in 25-26, but in 24-25, he averaged 10 a game. But this past year, he was one of the worst volume players in terms of true shooting and field goal percentage in the league. 36.6% from the field, 48% true shooting. There's not much green here. The only thing is his free throw percentage. And look, if there was a green for shot mechanics, I think it would be there too, because he's fun to watch. But, you know, as much as it makes some sense here to grab this type of player to fill that last roster spot, to me, he's not a good fit. I'm just going to say why. He's the kind of guy that I think if you want to do a reclamation project, he's going to need to get his shots up. It's not working in New Orleans. Will it really work here in Washington when this team is already loaded with wings? As much as I like the sentiment, I just don't know if him specifically is the type of guy you want to take a swing for right now, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm higher on him just because you look at his stats from 2 years ago, I guess, or the year before last, and he was really, really good. 10 points a game. The efficiency was low. And I say really good, I mean, obviously compared to last year. And he's always it's going to be a matter of if he can improve his overall shooting. His 3-point percentage is actually above league average last year. But the reason I like it, I think it's a golden opportunity, is because the cost is going to be little. They have to get rid of him. And you have an opportunity to get somebody who at one point was seen as a fairly crucial young piece to the Pelicans. Now the Pelicans are, and something else to keep in mind, and we look at the stats, we look at how he's developed. He was obviously a former lottery pick, number 14. The Pelicans are a disastrous organization. So I think if he switches to the Wizards, and obviously some people who aren't Wizards fans will probably say the Wizards are a disastrous organization to a degree, but I think the Wizards, I mean, you can see the corner shooting. If you get some decent development, you pair him alongside an actual point guard like Trae Young. I mean, I don't see a reason why he couldn't perform. Now, is he going to get that opportunity? That's the question. But it does seem like maybe a Will Dawkins type move to where you're buying super, super low at his lowest value at a point where he has to be moved by the Pelicans. And you look at the free throw percentage, which sometimes indicates some sort of shooting, and it's improved. It's over 85%. So I'm a bit higher on it just because I don't trust anything that the Pelicans, develop.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, there have been some weird moves there, and yeah, we did open the video kind of say it is a good opportunity, and I think in general the chance to, like you said, get a guy who was once very highly touted, a guy who objectively has a very high ceiling from three. Yeah. This guy has incredible shooting mechanics. This guy, when he's on, is a really, really solid player, really solid shooter. And if you can get him for some second round picks, why not? Because you could flip him for something better. My only concern, again, it comes back to where the Wizards stand in their depth chart. Where would you put him? Would he be behind all of Keyshawn George, Tre Johnson, Will Riley, and like Dawkins and Coulibaly? Like, who is he slotting in ahead of to get minutes? So, he could play 10 to 15 minutes a night. But Nick, sometimes with these guys, these great three-point shooters, really sometimes that's all you need if you're put in the right situation. So as much as I don't really see the fit with the Wizards roster, if he accepts a lesser role to just try and develop himself and it costs next to nothing to get him, I also I can't see this necessarily being a bad move, as much as, again, I don't know if I see the crazy upside, at least not immediate.
Yeah, low risk. I mean, depending who you ask, high reward, maybe not high reward, but it is, and we're still patiently waiting for them to finish. There's a lot more by finish. I mean, finish, of course, their, I guess their free agency search, or in this case, trade search. There's still a couple of rosters, well, one roster spot in a two-way, so it'd be interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. So, because if they get him, I don't know how they'd manage it. I think that would be weird, but still, I think it'd be cool to watch. I think it'd be fun to watch. Head coach Keefe's gonna have his hands full already, and I mean, I don't mind an extra injection of talent. I mean, look, we don't have to fill this last roster spot, but if you're going to, he's kind of an exciting player. Like him and Tre Johnson just firing three. I mean, that would be fun to watch. So anyway, leave your thoughts down below. Is he the kind of player that you would want on this team? Do you think there's room for him, or no? Is Yahoo onto something or not? We'd love to hear from you. That'll do it though for this episode. Thank you for tuning in every single day. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host Nick Gosse. We'll catch you in the next one.